Hey Ruff Squad, it's your boy Ruff, and today we're going to be talking about the PlayStation VR and why I think it's going to fail just like some other things that have been on the PlayStation Xbox in the past, but we'll talk about that right after this. So yeah, that's right. I think the VR is going to fail. When you look at the past, things that these companies, Microsoft and Sony, have added outside of the controller, they haven't been successful. I mean, we're talking about the Kinect, not very successful. You hear about these games coming out for the Kinect, and it just didn't stick. It's an experience. It's something that you can have fun with. Same with the PlayStation Move. It's an experience. It's not something you're going to consistently use, especially in a everyday kind of gaming environment. I don't understand why people are so hyped up about VR. I think it's a cool experience. I think it's something that you go to your friend's house and you play a game and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. But to sit there all day and play for 4, 5, 6 hours straight, which, I mean, come on, true gamers, you all know we've at least done that one huge session of gaming. You're not going to want this thing on your face the whole time. I just don't think that's the case. At the same time, I think it is a neat product. I think that the Sony VR, there are some games that are going to be really cool in this. I mean, a few that come to mind, for one, is Until Dawn Rush of Blood. I think the Until Dawn series, or the game was cool. So I think that they'll do a good job of that and be able to pick. But the thing is, like, even with a game like that, it was specifically made onto a roller coaster because they don't want you moving around a lot of places, because it makes it a lot harder to make a game like that. So I'm not really sure how that's going to be, but it's probably a cool experience. How long is that game? I mean, I'm guessing probably 2 hours. I mean, a lot of these games are not going to have a ton of hours. And the main reason for that is just because once you kind of do something in VR, I feel like that's it. You can't go into a ton of detail. You can't really make a game flourish like you can now, because you have to work around these limitations of being VR and knowing that you have to make a game a certain way to support the VR. So they have a few games listed right now on the PlayStation Store. 100-foot robot golf. I mean, it's kind of weird. Infinite, Battle Zone. Now, Robinson, which is Robinson the Journey from Crytek, actually looks pretty cool. It actually is really cool graphics. I believe you can move yourself. I don't think you're limited to a certain path. So I think that will be kind of a good test to kind of see what it's like. But again, I don't think this game is going to be 8-10 hours long. Again, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, Golem, Batman VR, another one. We haven't really seen any gameplay of it yet, so I'm not really sure how it's going to be. I mean, I don't believe you're going to be able to hop around Gotham like you did in the actual games with the VR. It just doesn't make sense. I don't think that's going to happen. And then you have Rigs, and then you have PlayStation VR Worlds. I think this is just what you're going to get. These base, probably really quick, fun, small games when you actually buy the VR. So it says PlayStation is coming out on October 2016. My belief, like I said at the very beginning of the video, I just don't feel like this experience is going to be something people want to completely invest in for long term. I remember when the Move came out, it was really cool that with the new SOCOM game, SOCOM 4, you could actually put a move into a gun and actually go move around the battlefield and then shoot people pointing at the screen as if you're playing an arcade game. We all love those arcade games. What's it called? Where you step on the pedal and you duck down, or you pop up and then you start shooting, it made you kind of feel like that, which was cool. And when you get competitive, you want to have more precision, which is only going to ever happen with a controller. I don't see a precision of you being able to be the person and trying to control it at the same time. So just like the PlayStation Move, I don't think this is going to be very successful. I mean, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have these games that come out that are going to be specifically made for VR. If it's a game that's not made for VR, people are going to rather play non-VR. And what happens when you have a game that's completely VR, that's a long game, like 10 hours? I mean, to me, most gamers probably are, if it's like 6+ hours, I'm assuming that's couch playing. Most gamers are not sitting at their, screen like a hardcore competitive game like Call of Duty when they're playing The Witcher. It's just a different feel. So I feel like VR is the same way. You put it on for that small, short-term experience. I think VR is that living room play. I don't think you're going to see a ton of people sitting at their desk playing on VR. Because A, you probably don't get the same experiences if you're standing anyway, and you'd like to have the room. I just don't feel like it's going to be successful. I think this is a whole nother move thing, and I really hate it because I wish that PlayStation would stop focusing so much on what everyone else is doing and do what they've been doing great, which is coming out with great games, coming out with good hardware, and they've been so focused on VR. I think that they've kind of stepped back from where they were at the beginning of this generation, which got them here, and that's games and producing good content and the whole cloud streaming of games. That was brilliant. PlayStation Now was brilliant. They need to hone in on that and make that better instead of trying to focus on VR. And I understand it's a business and they want to have a piece of the pie in the VR world. I think VR for the most part is going to be really successful probably on computer over console. And the main reason for that is because there are way more developers on PC and it's much, much easier to develop a game than trying to develop for a PS4 or an Xbox and then trying to actually get permission to sell now your game on their store. Because you can, on a PC, you don't have to have permission of Steam. You don't have to get on Steam to be successful. I mean, you could sell individually on your own website if you really wanted to and have access to the download there and allow people to then download the game, experience the VR that's probably like, a 2-hour game, and then you're done. And I think that's what VR is. And if that's something that excites you, then that seems really cool. But for example, Resident Evil 7 is coming out and they are going to have it accessible to VR. Even though I think that would be a cool experience to throw on the headset and maybe just kind of see what it looks like and kind of see how it feels. I don't think I would, again, want to sit there for 10 hours playing a game in the VR. And I don't know of anyone personally in my close friends that I know would want to do that. I think I've talked to some of them about it and they've mentioned how, no, I wouldn't want to sit there and just have this VR on my face the whole time while I'm playing a 10-hour game. You want to sit back and want to relax, you want to enjoy the game. Everyone's a little different. I'm very curious to see how it works out. I definitely want to try out the PlayStation VR. A friend of mine got like the HTC. There's so many of them out there now, but I think the main one, obviously for PlayStation, is the PlayStation VR. And I'm excited to see what other people think about it once the masses get their hands on it, to kind of see what people think. And if it is something that you can put on and that you feel comfortable enough to play like Call of Duty. I just cannot see Call of Duty because the whole point of a VR is to make you feel like you're that person. So when you move your head to the left, the person's head moves to the left. And when you're playing Call of Duty, you want to be competitive. And that will mess you up and actually cause it to not be as accurate because you're moving your head as you're moving your gun. I think it'll just be a total disaster in the long run. I think we're going to see these sales go skyrocketing when they come out. And I think they're just going to plummet because it's the people who want them are already got them pre-ordered. I don't think anyone that's kind of on the fence about it is really going to jump. I don't think there's a game that's going to come out that's going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to get that for VR. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I just don't think this is going to be successful. I think the VR it's a cool idea. I think it's really neat. I remember hearing it back like years ago and thinking, wow, that's cool, but dumb. I'm not going to buy that. And now here we are right at the edge of when it's coming out for the PlayStation. And I still feel the same way. Even seeing the games, even seeing like kind of the reaction from some people. And I get the reaction, and they're going to sell a lot, I think, up front because they're doing a good job of selling the fact that it actually looks cool, right? Because anytime you see someone with it, they're having such a great time and they're having so much fun. But they've only probably been at that booth for 2 or 3 minutes playing this demo of whatever it is. they're not sitting at home for hours upon hours upon hours playing. Where, who has talked about that? I haven't heard anyone or found any article talking about how like longevity of playing VR for a very long time. So let me know what you guys think. I have no idea. I don't think it's going to be successful. I think it's just going to be one of those things like the Move or the Kinect that are going to come in. They're going to try to do it. It's not going to work because everyone is going to continue to play games with a controller, sitting back on their couch, relaxing and enjoying it and having fun. So let me know what you guys think. Ruff Squad, thank you as always for the views and the love. And I will be back on Thursday for a live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're new. Ruff out.